Hi guys, Freddie B here. It is time for Miami's pathetic picks. Pathetic picks for Miami. I gotta tell you, unfortunately I won't be here at home to be able to watch the race because I'm going to the race. I'm going to be in Miami. I cannot wait. Bucket list experience. Lots of notes this week. And then my pathetic picks. First of all, how about the China race? China race was outstanding. Fun sprint. Good for Lewis Hamilton. Parc Ferme is defined as you cannot touch your car except for a couple of wing adjustments and tire pressure adjustments. So you got to get your setup right, and then you go out and qualify. Well, there's 2 Parc Ferme sections in China, as there will be this weekend in Miami. So you can adjust your car after the sprint race to get ready for the main event qualifying on Saturday. Lewis Hamilton came in second in China and then totally went backwards in the qualifying because I think he over-tweaked his car. So you always got to be careful when you're adjusting on the car, because once you're in Parc Ferme, you're not allowed to add bits and pieces and major adjustments to the car. So lots of notes, lots of things to go on. It's silly season for sure. I'm super excited that Hulkenberg is leaving Haas. I'm sorry for Haas. I'm sorry for me. I'm a Haas fan, and going to Audi. But that is one piece of the puzzle that is starting to, as you see the chips starting to fall this week. Hulkenberg goes to Audi, so that's going to leave a seat open at Haas. Now, Gene Haas tried 2 rookies, and the results were not great. But I got a pretty good, I thought, that maybe Behrman might be going to Haas next year. So which Sauber drivers are going to be out next year? Currently you have Zhou Guanyu and you have Valtteri Bottas. I think they both leave that team, unfortunately, because I think the next person that is going to sign with Audi, and I think they'd rather do it sooner than later. I know they're going after Sainz really, really hard. I think they might go after Checo, because Checo would like to have a 3-year deal, and I think Audi would be willing to give him a 3-year deal if he went there. So he's probably pretty good as a development driver also. So we will see. I think Sainz ends up maybe at Mercedes, though, next year. Although Kimi Antonelli, which was my bait and switch tease for the opening of this video, that's the Kimi that's coming back. This kid's 18 years old. Now, Kimi Antonelli is 18 years old. He's a phenom, won Formula 3. He's in F2. I think he's too young to be in F1. I think once in a generation you have a Max Verstappen. But this kid looks like he's 12 years old, which doesn't mean he can't race cars. Obviously he can. Mercedes is super high on Kimi Antonelli. I think Kimi Antonelli is the future of Mercedes, and I think Toto Wolff wants to get Kimi Antonelli in a Mercedes so bad. So here's what I think may happen this weekend. I think you may see the last weekend of Logan Sargent driving for Williams in Miami. They don't want to do anything before the race because this is essentially a home race. Logan grew up in Fort Lauderdale, and the race is right on the Fort Lauderdale Broward Dade line at Joe Robbie Stadium. That's where the stadium is. And he's going to have a lot of fans there, and I will definitely be rooting for him because I kind of like him. This is my Miami Dolphins official t-shirt, the greatest player to ever play for the Dolphins. This is my tribute to the race and to Dan Marino. So I think Logan Sargent might be let go, and I think if F1 approves, they have to approve because Antonelli is 4 months away from being 18. I think that he goes maybe to Williams for the rest of the year. As you know, Williams is a Mercedes client. So it gives him some F1 experience in a car that, while it's not super competitive, is getting better and better. Here's something else that I think may happen, not sure. It'd be very interesting. There's a lot of rumors at Aston Martin. Aramco, which is the Saudi oil giant, they make more money than Exxon, I think wants a bigger stake in the team. And then you also have Honda bringing in their engines. So Lawrence Stroll doesn't have the ultimate control that he used to have on this team, as his sponsors and suppliers are going to put more and more pressure on him to probably replace his son Lance, who is a good race driver, but because of his particular situation, he doesn't have to improve. So he's kind of like a gentleman racer amongst all these other guys. He's a driver. He earned his way. He earned his stripes. But now I think that is a seat that needs to go to somebody who's going to push that car and bring that Aston Martin team up to the level that it wants to be, because Honda's expecting them to win world championships when they move over to Aston Martin in 2026, even with the new rules. So remember, Honda's leaving Red Bull. Red Bull's developing a powertrain with Ford currently, and Honda's going to move over to Aston Martin. So what I see is perhaps Lance Stroll going to the World Endurance Championship with Aston Martin. Still a very, very prestigious drive. It allows him to stay in motorsports if he wants to. His dad can put him in a team, and his dad can concentrate on putting maybe Carlos Sainz there. Maybe Sainz goes to Mercedes for a year, Antonelli comes in, Sainz leaves, and maybe he goes to Aston Martin. So who knows? But there's a lot of balls in the air going up in Formula One. So we're going to the Miami Grand Prix. 19 turns, 5.4 kilometers, which is just about 3.2 miles. There are 3 DRS zones in this race. This should be fun, and there's a sprint race on Saturday. Unfortunately, I am meeting a buddy at my house on Friday night, and we're not going to be able to be down there for the action on Friday, but we'll be there, and we will leave at the crack of dawn here on Saturday morning, somewhere probably around 5 a.m., so we can hit Miami at about 8 a.m., so we don't miss. There's a Porsche Cup race. There is also the sprint race for Formula One. There's Formula One qualifying, and it should be a really, really good Saturday and an incredibly good Sunday. There's also a Porsche Cup race on Sunday at Miami. So that track's going to get a lot of utilization, which is great for Miami, great for the state of Florida. I'm going for the experience, folks. I realize I'm not going to be able to see as much of the race as I could at home. But you know what? That's okay. Sometimes you go to things for the experience. I'll still tape it, and I'll give you my full report when I get back. I hope to have a lot of good photos and videos to show you when I get back from there. All right, so let's see. As I mentioned, Berryman off, who filled in for Sainz, remember, second Grand Prix, maybe to Haas next year, not really sure. Magnussen is also out. Don't know if he will retire. I don't know that he'll get picked up by any team, because I think Haas might go with Valtteri Bottas and pick up Bottas next year, or maybe they do a complete swap and take Zhou Guanyu. The only reason I say that is Zhou Guanyu was so popular in China with his people there that F1 is probably dying to keep him around because of the opportunity to expand Formula One's influence to those 300 million people in China who can actually afford to not eat dirt, considering there's 1.4 billion people there. So there's a billion people there that still, are peasants in China. Everybody forgets that. All right. Ferrari's going to have a blue livery this weekend. Haven't seen it yet, but by all accounts, I'm sure it's going to be really, really cool. And it's time for my picks. Now, last year, Max started 9th. Checo, I believe, was on the pole. Max came back, blew by Checo, probably destroyed Checo's. It certainly ruined him for at least 6-7 races, because Checo didn't do squat after that, and Max won the race. So there's a pretty good chance that I think Max is probably going to take pole and win this race. I would also say Checo probably going to come in second. So it's going to be 1-2. And then the question is, what's Ferrari going to do? How is McLaren, who had Lando Norris had a great race, Are they there? And is Aston Martin, which are bringing upgrades, are they going to be competitive? So it's going to be a three-way fight, I think, between Ferrari, McLaren, and Ferrari, or Ferrari, McLaren, and Aston Martin for the third spot. And that's tough because you've got Fernando Alonso, Leclerc, Sainz. They are all extremely good. You got Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, second year, doing very well. Or could it be somebody else that might emerge from the mid-pack or the bottom of the midfield to come in and get a top 10? I think Haas might get a top 10 this time. I think Williams might be able to get a top 10 because you got Alex Albon, who I don't know where he's going to go next year. I really don't, but I don't think he stays with Williams. So, Freddie Bz Pathetic picks for the Miami Grand Prix. We'll see if I'm right. And hang on, before I give you that, I got to tell you this. I think I picked Max, I picked Checo, and I picked Alonso to place last time in China, but I did bet on Lando Norris, so I did win with Lando Norris. So I'm kind of happy that I was my picks were pathetic. But this time, so I don't know if I'm going to bet on any of these drivers at all, but you know, I owe it to you to at least be honest. I think this time it's going to be Max in first, though, and I think Checo hasn't proved anybody wrong. If he qualifies well, he'll come in second, and I'm going to say it's going to be Sainz in third, again beating Leclerc, and that's going to leave Fred Monsieur banging his head about why Carlos Sainz is leaving Ferrari because Ferrari's picking up Hamilton. Anyway, there you have it. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you soon. Ta-ta for now.